to my social media audience. I am live on Millennium TV, but there are glitches we're resolving. Okay. Sound was okay just a few seconds ago. Yeah. So to our social media audience, we are live, but I'm waiting for a connection with Millennium TV. I am being hosted by Millennium TV. It's not my program. So it is their feed that I'm sharing, that I'll share with you. They will lead in this discussion. It's not my program, it's their program. So I urge you just to be patient as we resolve this matter. Can you hear me? Are they resolved? Just for a minute when I saw their montage. Technical glitches. That's why I love to be in control and I host myself. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. We have a lot to discuss. We are live. Just share the broadcast. Just share the broadcast. We're live on Millennium TV. I'm just waiting for their connection. Yeah, for now, just share the broadcast. Just share the broadcast. We are live on Millennium TV. It's a remote broadcast, so we're just connecting and those usual technical glitches. But we should be going live. A gentleman called Ruben is hosting me. Lovisa, who was supposed to host me, isn't available today. I'll be hosted by Millennium TV host Ruben. Ruben is on standby on the other side. So just hold on, share, and be patient. We'll go live. Okay, so for now, I'll just be sharing with you for our social media audience. I have seen the Attorney General Mlilo Kabesha is on the other platform. We'll take time to respond. But in the week, we have very exciting issues. On Monday, I host, tomorrow, Monday, I host a dear brother of, two dear brothers of mine, young brothers of mine, Honorable Christopher Kangombe Kamfinsa MP and Honorable George Mutonga, a Zambian national based in the United States, who is an economist and financial analyst. Will be discussing the gold issue. Remember, what has happened is Ghana implemented certain measures for the first time in over 65 years. They yielded, just in two quarters, I think 3 quarters, they yielded $5 billion. They have a problem of illegal mining, gold breaking out everywhere. There's a lot of illegal mining. So there are measures they put. They banned foreigners. They created one gold outlet as the only buyer and seller of gold, and they've reaped $5 billion. What can we learn from Ghana? So Christopher Kangombe and George Mutonga. George Mutonga is supports the UPND. He thinks that the measures that government have taken are enough, but Kangombe wants us to move the Ghana way. Yala. Okay. So, where have you sent the password to which number? Okay. Okay, so I put just the password here. Okay. Just a minute, let me just go through 25056. Okay. And I just say connect. Okay. I just click on OK. Okay, to our social media, you are watching this live. We're supposed to have a broadcast with Millennium TV. They are hosting me. But there's a technical glitch that the technical team are sorting out. So tomorrow we have George Mutonga. I think I can see the call. So just tell the other side to connect properly. I can see their screen with an M. Yeah. Yes, for me. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I can just add it. Yeah. Okay, so yes, they have volume. Okay. And then we have another big one. Remember Dr. Grieve Chelwa, former lecturer, former young lecturer from Cape Town University, Harvard University, and now is in the United Arab Emirates. He will be on Thursday. The UPND clock 4 years in office.
Speed trap boy chopimisa dotu. Speed trap pimisa dotu patu. Uza. Ni binzi yonawe kulipe boy huku kulilie.
Bana hygienics. Isani mwana wa sambile kuno. Ela bale bainda.
Officer Saka. Baone kama cha aggravated bathing. Muna sambile ko.
Patrick, how will my social media see the Millennium Live TV if it's on the left box? Am I not supposed to be on the other side? I press cut. Okay. Okay, so we are somehow connected to Millennium TV, but there's a glitch. So you'll be seeing me answering the questions of Millennium TV for now. You will not see their host, but in the background we'll try to resolve that so that we start with the program. So I was announcing that on Thursday we have the big one, Dr. Grieve Chagwa, a young renowned economist. He's actually been voted amongst top 10 economists in Africa. He's based in the United Arab Emirates. He reviews the economic policies of the UPND in the last 4 years. Remember, this week the UPND will have clocked 4 years in office. So on Thursday, look forward, we'll have that big one. And we have other leaders lined up, Bob Chinga, Ernest Mwansa, Muhabi Lungu is also coming back this week. So we have a power-packed punches of analysis the entire week. So colleagues, for those that have joined us, I'm being hosted by Millennium TV. I can't do the issues I do. I can't play a song. I can't play a video. I'm on a platform, on another platform. But for you and me, you are connected to my social media platforms. The issue is not with me. The issue is the connection between us and Millennium TV. I can see I'm connected, but I don't know what the issue is. Like I said, I cannot play videos or anything else as we are waiting because I'm on a feed for Millennium TV. Yadishupa internet kumwesu, yadishupa internet kumwesu. I don't know what the issue is. But whatever the case, we have a power-packed coming week. We'll be hosting Dr. Grave Chagwa, a renowned economist, a renowned economist who's based in the United States, in the United Arab Emirates, running the... Oh, looks like we are back on Millennium. Let's see how it goes. Then we have mining experts on Sunday. The mining experts will discuss the mining sector in Zambia. These are very renowned miners, Zambian miners, running mines across the world. I've gathered 3 of them. So you will see a power-packed program on Sunday. They might be joined by Dr. Grave Chagwa, who will then analyze the economic side of the mining sector. Remember, this is a resource that has to be harnessed. So we'll discuss these 3 programs. Tomorrow we have Christopher Kangombe, Kamfinsa MP, and George N. Mutonga. On Thursday we have the big one, Dr. Grave Chagwa, an economist voted top of the 10 economists in Africa. He was at the Harvard University. Now he runs the African Institute in the United Arab Emirates. He'll be back on Thursday to review where we are as a country, 4 years in office for the UPND. Patrick, hello, what's happening? For me, I'm waiting. I'm ready. The audience is ready. We are 49 minutes late. I like keeping my audience on time. I start at 20. Let's just
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the platform program right here on Millennium TV. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ruben Mwanza and I am your host on the program tonight. We apologize for starting the program late. This was due to a technical fault that we were having, but we've finally resolved it. So do remember that you can definitely reach us on the number that will be showing on your screen very shortly. We'll give you that number so you can call in and be part of the program. And also, you can follow us on our Facebook page, on Daily Nation Facebook page, as well as Lusaka-san Facebook page. Today being a Sunday, the platform takes its position. And tonight, we are featuring Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, PF Information and Publicity Chairperson. He'll be talking to us on different issues in relation to the PF and, of course, the nation of Zambia. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get to join Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba.
Ruben, good evening, and good evening to our dear audience. And we wish to apologize for starting late. This is the trouble with remote broadcasting.
Indeed. Good evening, Ambassador. Thank you so much for finding time to talk to us, and good to know that you are in good health, I must say. Let's begin with the latest development in relation to what has been happening, centering around the burial of former President Edgar Lungu. Now, your comment on the new development where the South African court ruled that the late former President Edgar Lungu must be buried in Zambia.
Yeah, we've immediately appealed. The family immediately appealed against that ruling for various reasons. First of all, the judgment wasn't sound. The judge was prescribing things that should happen in Zambia, where the late president should be buried, how the president should be brought to Zambia. All those issues are outside his jurisdiction. Instead, he should have been dealing with the law in South Africa. What does the law in South Africa say when someone dies in South Africa? When the family chooses to inter or bury such a person in South Africa? Who has preeminence and say on the remains of the mortal remains of the deceased person? If you read that judgment, all those issues are absent, including the requisite provision of the law in South Africa. You are aware that the President C0URT Ramaphosa and his cabinet discussed this matter and chose to dispatch the foreign minister who came to tell President Hakainde Hichilema that there's nothing they can do as government, because the law in South Africa and their precedent where there are various court rulings is that it favors the family, and that the family is the one to put to rest and choose the place of burial for the late person who has died. And the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Mr. Lamola, Honorable Lamola, traveled to Zambia. You saw, that was live on TV, and saw President Hakainde Hichilema, and he was told the law. But President Hakainde Hichilema chose, and the Attorney General chose, to go to court, stop the funeral and burial. And now they have this favorable judgment, which the family has objected to. Number one, that judgment is not founded in the law. Number two, it's not founded in the precedent of how you deal with a deceased person who has died in South Africa. Number three, is prescribing things that should happen in another jurisdiction. It is, you saw the judge make comments of where the body should be and where it should lie. Those are totally outside the provisions of the law in South Africa. For that reason, the family has chosen to appeal. They put up a notice of appeal, and the body can be surrendered to the Attorney General or his representative at the Zambian Embassy in South Africa for now, until the appeal is heard.
All right. So, Ambassador Mwamba, do you believe that the court erred in allowing government to repatriate the remains of Edgar Lungu?
They are even far more serious concern than what the error of the court. I've just demonstrated what the law is in South Africa, what the precedence is in South Africa, and what the judge did where he was pronouncing on matters that are clearly outside the jurisdiction of South Africa. So the judge was in error, and that is a foundation for the appeal.
So why do you think the judge was in error? What was supposed to happen?
Yeah, remember, we have various scenarios here. First of all, the family were in agreement that the body should come to Zambia. let's just track back. When the late president died on 5th June 2025, the following day, government, President Hakainde Hichilema, sent Mulambo Haimbe, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Relations in Zambia, to come and speak to the family. President Edgar Lungu took himself to South Africa. He had been in South Africa for 6 months seeking medical treatment and specialist treatment. He was not under government. And remember, 2 years before, his benefits were all stripped when he joined politics, and the office of the 6th president was closed. That was the status. So government had no say, and government was on record of having stopped him several times from seeking medical treatment. That is the background. So when the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mulambo Haimbe, turned up in South Africa and approached the family, the talks quickly broke down for one simple reason. He just wanted the body, that he had been sent by the president, that he had a Zambia Air Force plane parked at Lanseria Airport, and that he had come to buy the casket and bring the body. So the family got annoyed. They said, look, you haven't been here. You don't even know how we are paying the bills, both medical and our living welfare. You just can't turn up today and say we want a body. So they refused, the family refused, and stated very clearly that we have to wait. Then we saw 2 days later, 3 persons arrive. That was Mr. Patrick Chagwa, Secretary to Cabinet, and was accompanied by 2 negotiators who were the former Vice President, Enoch Kavindele, and the former Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. Leslie Mbulo. Now, again, the talks broke down for 2 reasons. Leslie Mbula and Honorable Enoch Kavindele have been issuing very disparaging remarks against the last president, against just the politics, the toxic politics that happens in our country. So they were not very good emissaries. And at this stage, the family had stated that they will repatriate the body only after a church service was held for the South African community that had been with them, that had been praying with them. And the community of Zambians in South Africa always organizes a send-off church service if any of the Zambian national dies in South Africa and they're bringing the body to Zambia. So the family said, we can only come on Wednesday after that church service. So the talks resumed in the background, and when after the church service, you remember that the family spokesperson, Honorable Makebi Zulu, announced that the body will not be going back to Zambia on Wednesday as earlier announced, because the talks between the family and government have not been concluded. So the delay happened because of that. On the issue of the body coming to Zambia, there was one single demand by the family, that the current president, the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, must not be superintendent over the funeral, must not be near the body of the late president. That was a sticking issue. And for that reason, they gave conditions to secure that decision. For example, that the body must lie in state at Chifwema, at the residence of the late president. That the entire time, before up to burial, the body will lie not at Maina Soko, but it will lie at Chifwema, the president's residence at the time. Those were the issues that brought the impasse. It was not about the family refusing to bring the body. The family was determined to bring the body. They had even spent money. A well-wisher donated a plane, chartered a plane for the family, and the plane was also waiting at Lanseria Airport to bring the remains. So the perspective and the toxic narrative that has engulfed this particular matter, that the family didn't want or do not want to bring the body to Zambia is not true. From the onset, the family was determined to bring the body. The family had even set a calendar for the body to come to Zambia before even the state intervened. Then when the state said, although we closed his office, although we denied him his benefits, we are going to accord him a state funeral. To that effect, remember, President Hakainde Hichilema had announced a 7-day of national mourning and had announced the date of burial. So the family had not objected. The issue came when President Hakainde Hichilema and Secretary to Cabinet could not guarantee that the president will either delegate or will not be near this funeral procession. So you saw a second set of agreement, which were now later announced, I think that was on 16th or 17th of June, where they agreed that the state conceded that the body will lie at Chifwema, that there will be various church services, including body viewing, beginning, I think, that Thursday. And there'll be a church service, 2 church services, the one for VIPs, dignitaries, and former presidents, that was going to be held on Sunday, 22nd of June, and the bigger one in the showgrounds on Tuesday, 23rd June. And that the body was supposed to be repatriated on 25th June. Sorry, not 25th. I might mix up the dates, but the body was supposed to be repatriated on 18th June 2025. So that then there's that period of morning church service at Mulungushi and body viewing at Mulungushi and burial on 23rd. We had this issue, and the family raised some concerns on the day the body was supposed to come to Zambia. Number one, they noticed that the crossroad to Chifwema would be closed by Road Development Agency. They noticed that there were no guarantees which they had agreed on that the president will be away from this process, because a night before they could transport the body, government released a program that showed that President Hakainde Hichilema will receive the body at the international airport, will have a private church service at a so-called designated place. And then that when the body viewing opens the following day, I think at Mulungushi, that President Hakainde Hichilema was going to be the first one again to view the body. The family raised those concerns and stated, but we thought we agreed that the president would be distant and he will only be available to host his colleagues when a church service is held in honor of the late president, where dignitaries from the region will come. And the talks broke down, and the family then couldn't get guarantees from government and then cancelled the repatriation of the body. The following day, on 19th of June, President Hakainde Hichilema cancelled the period of national mourning. And we are where we are. On 19th June, when he cancelled the period of national mourning, the family sat the following day and agreed that they'll put to rest the late president on 25th June, 2 days later after he was scheduled to be buried. He was scheduled to be buried on 23rd June, but they said we'll bury on 25th June. And then you remember, Ruben, that a church service was held, presided over by Archbishop Dr. Alik Banda, and the family was set to bury. But the previous night we heard that the Attorney General had come to South Africa, had hired lawyers, and had filed in an interdict to stop the burial and process. Hence, that decision on that day where they didn't bury, they turned the requiem mass into just a mere memorial for the late president. And we are where we are because of those issues.
changed the ruling over the barrier when it comes to South African courts. What is your comment on that? Do you believe that some top Patriotic Front officials are actually pushing the family to challenge decisions made by the courts in South Africa?
Ruben, no PF official is pushing the family. These are entire decision of the family. The Patriotic Front has stated that it will respect the wishes of the late president. The Patriotic Front, when there were arrangements to repatriate the body, we prepared to receive the body. When the late president died, we prepared. When a church service was called, we prepared. When there is a court case, our role as a Patriotic Front is to support the family in all its decisions. The reason we are where we are is a leadership crisis with President Hakainde Hichilema. This is a matter that he could have resolved. The family is not averse to an issue of the late president coming home and be put to rest. In fact, that is a single hope that we put to rest the late president in Zambia. But the current environment is hostile, is toxic. If you see what newspapers of the UPND, if you see how the UPND mocks the family, insults the family, if you see how their own media like Koswe, humiliates the family, and if you see comments from the vice president, Honorable Mtalena Lumango, under comments in parliament, if you see the comments by Jack Mwimbu, these are not people that are determined to give the late president a dignified funeral. They are not. And sadly, President Hakainde Hichilema has not stopped this toxic environment. He has not advised Koswe to put their guns down. He has not apologized for the remarks either by the Vice President Jack Mwimbu or the cadres who are every day insulting the family and insulting, the late president. President Lungu has not even been spared. Their own representatives, people that speak for President Hakainde Hichilema on social media, you've said they've been mocking the late president, that he's not even dead. No, it was a drug issue. No, he died in February. And you see at the remarks by the Vice President, W.K. Mtalena Lumango, you look at the remarks by Jack Mwimbu. Are those honorable remarks? Is this a government that wishes to offer and afford a dignified send-off for the late president? The environment is extremely toxic. And that is why the family has sought with the South African government that they want to put to rest the late president in a grave of amnesty. A grave of amnesty simply means that the body will be put to rest temporarily. Zambia has a lot of graves of amnesty. We have South Africans, Zimbabweans, Namibians who were waging war with their government and they were living in Lusaka. When they died, we put them to rest at Leopard Zoo Cemetery. And when these countries got independence, Angola, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, they came with their people and picked the bodies. So this is not strange. You have the case of the president of Ghana, the founding president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. There was a coup, he was ousted, they burnt his books, they humiliated his family, and he died in Poland, and Africans came together, and Equatorial Guinea, I think Equatorial Conakry, President Sekou Toure, said, I'll bury the late president here. This is an honorable man for Africa. He might have issues in his country, but I'll bury him. And President Kwame Nkrumah remained in Guinea for a period of 20 years. When there was a decent government in Ghana, they came and picked the remains, and President Kwame Nkrumah was accorded a dignified send-off, covered by heads of states and dignitaries from Africa and across the world. A dignified funeral was held. It is possible. If President Hakainde Hichilema respects the late president, he should honor his wishes. His wishes are very, very simple. That, Mr. President, stay away from this funeral. You are head of state, but you can delegate. And let the body lie at Chifuema. Those are just issues of the family. and stop this hostility. You cannot have your followers. You cannot have people that speak for you on social media. You cannot have ZMBC rally a hate speech against a family. The same family that you want to negotiate with, the same family that you want to bring the remains of the late president. Until an environment, and President Hakainde Hichilema still has an opportunity to do that. He simply needs to demonstrate leadership. The bullying approach, taking matters to court, using state resources, while he can send the Attorney General, Mulambo Haimbe and others to South Africa, the family is using its own resources, while President Hakainde Hichilema is using state resources. So he can use the bully of the state resources, he can use the bully of the Attorney General, bully of the law. It doesn't promote unity in our country. What it does, it simply polarizes. If today he wins the case and the family decides to give him the body, would that be a dignified funeral for the late president? Would that be an African burial? If the family, for example, stays away, would that honor the memories of the late president? There is an opportunity for President Hakainde Hichilema to resolve this matter. And the matter doesn't lie in the law. The matter doesn't lie in courts. The matter lies with his leadership. He should help resolve this matter. From my understanding of this case, the family has not objected that the remains of the late president must be taken to Zambia. They've never objected. It is these issues when the will of the late president and the will of the family is not being respected. That is what is bringing the impasse. If the president yielded to the demands of the late president, the family of the late president, we will not be where we are today. We are where we are today is because the other side, who's President Hakainde Hichilema and government, have refused to honor the wishes of the late president. We should make it very, very clear. That is why we are where we are.
Ambassador Mwamba, I understand that family is in everything that we do because of the family is where we come from. But then again, former President Lungu'S is not a common person. All of these former presidents have actually been buried in Zambia. Talk of President Frederick Chiluba, the one that you worked with closely for a long time, has been buried in Zambia. Michael Chilufya-Sata has also been buried in Zambia. And not forgetting KK, they've all been buried in Zambia. Is it going to be right if we buried ETL in a foreign country, him being former president of Zambia?
Ruben, President Edgar Lungu will lie at Embassy Park. It may not be today. It may be 5 years later. President Edgar Lungu will one day lie alongside his colleagues at Embassy Park. It may not be today. It not may be tomorrow, but he will lie at Embassy Park. I've just explained that what is happening now is what we call a grave of amnesty. The environment in Zambia is extremely toxic and hostile for the family. It's extremely hostile and toxic for the late president. They are trampling on his legacy. They are trampling on his name. Even when he's dead, they are still insulting him in his death. Even blaming a dead man that we are where we are because of President Lungu. So there is no environment in Zambia, and President Hakainde Hichilema has not fostered a suitable environment. He has not been to the funeral, or the former First Lady and the First Lady. He has not been to the funeral. He put up a funeral show at Belvedere Lodge, Patriotic Front, which is a political family for Edgar Lungu, who didn't go to because it was a UPND affair. President Hakainde Hichilema has not gone to Chifwema, to the residence of the late president. President or the First Lady, they have not gone to Chifwema. They have not mourned the late president, but they just want this body. They just want this body. The issue again, I need to repeat, the issue is the leadership from President Hakainde Hichilema. It is not the issue of the first family. The first family has simple demands. President Hakainde Hichilema, stay away from the body. UPND have been arguing that no, it's one of his duties. He's a president of Zambia. He's head of state, so he can't stay away from the body. How many state funerals has President Hakainde Hichilema stayed away? How many funerals has he delegated to a minister or to the vice president? And if you remember, in the agreement, there is a portion where President Hakainde Hichilema was authorized to host the funeral and body viewing. The one that was supposed to take place at Lungu'S International Conference, where President Hakainde Hichilema was supposed to host dignitaries, former presidents, current presidents from the region, and other VIP guests at Lungu'S. That was going to be, the family yielded. They said, we accept. The head of state was President Lungu, our father, our grandfather, husband, was a head of state. And the head of state must have a role. The family accepted that President Hakainde Hichilema will host, because it was going to be embarrassing that leaders from the region comes to mourn Edgar Lungu, and President Hakainde Hichilema, who's the head of state, is missing. So for that reason, they accepted. There was, if you see in the program, on Sunday, the burial was supposed to take place, I think, on Monday. So on Sunday, if you look at the program, President Hakainde Hichilema was going to host a church service for VIPs at Lungu'S International Conference. And there was going to be, even there was going to be body viewing. So the family had yielded back despite recognizing the wishes of the late family, the late president. They accepted that President Hakainde Hichilema is head of state, who will allow him an opportunity. And remember, there were even area concessions at the beginning of the talks. Kavindele and Leslie Mbula were rejected by the family. But when they sat as a family, they said, okay, whatever the politics of Honorable Kavindele, he was our vice president, will accept. Whatever the toxic politics of Leslie Mbula, if he's a special envoy of the president, the head of state, will accept. So the family has been making concessions after concessions. Although the envoys were hostile, the family accepted them and discussed with them and concluded in that agreement. You will see the pictures that day when they announced the agreement, that Honorable Enoch Kavindele was accepted. He was sitting next. Honorable Leslie Mbula was there. Bishop Joshua Banda and Chief Mwamba from Petauke, they were all there. The family had conceded and accepted. The impasse is one person, President Hakainde Hichilema. It's not the family. It's not Mama Esther Lungu. The propaganda they've unleashed against the family, a grieving family, is an African, is unaccepted. It should not happen in our country. To rally your supporters to pour the kind of scorn and hatred against the family is unacceptable. If President Hakainde Hichilema was genuine to resolve this matter, he would have fostered a good environment in our country. He would have fostered and told everyone and arrest those that are insulting the late president. But in fact, the people who are insulting the president are his own people. The ones you see on social media praising, you see them in the entourage of the president. They're the ones insulting the late president and the family. And President Hakainde has been mum and quiet. The statement by WK Mtalina Lumango in parliament was shocking. Has anyone apologized for that? Jack Mwimbu's statement, has anyone apologized for that? You cannot have an environment. On one breath, you are saying, let's respect him. He's our former president. He's our father. Bring the body home. All of us want the body home. But President Lungu is not president. He's former president. There is a president who is creating an extremely hostile environment for the family. And it distresses all of us. All Zambians are distressed about this matter. All of us. And you cannot keep this polarization. 65 days today. 65 days today. I'm not a member of the family, but the pain I've felt the last 65 days. Now imagine the pain of the widow. Imagine the pain of those children. I call upon President Hakainde Hichilema to stop this crisis, to engage in meaningful dialogue so that we can meaningfully put to rest the late president. The ball is not in the court of the family. The family are only fighting back to a president and his leadership who's bullying their way, who are refusing and failing to honor the wishes of the family and the late president. President Hakainde Hichilema, my appeal again is to him. He's the only one that can resolve this issue, not the family. The family can only collaborate.
All right, so Ambassador, as we close on this issue and move on to other issues that are unfolding as well, do you think we are going to see the burial of former President Edgar Lungu anytime? Is it going to happen anytime?
The matters, Ruben, the matters are in court. That gives us hope that even tomorrow, this matter can be resolved. We do not have to rely on foreigners to resolve our matter. We do not have to rely on courts to resolve a matter like this. President Hakainde Hichilema and President Edgar Lungu are voted by our people. They are public. There is a perception they are public assets. Although they belong to their families, there is a perception that they are public assets. There is public interest in this matter. But you are not going to erode the interest of the family. You are not going to overlook the wishes of the family in this matter. This is where mature negotiations can take place to resolve this matter. We do not have to have this standoff that is grieving our family. The president said he had closed, the period of national mourning, and he had urged Zambians to get back to their lives. Zambians and all of us have failed to move on. Every time this matter comes up, there's huge debate. You can see the emotions. Even now that we are discussing it, if you follow now, right now on social media, you can see the emotions that this matter evokes. Zambia will not put this matter behind if we don't resolve it. Will President, like I said, will President Edgar Lungu be buried at Embassy Park? Yes, he will be buried at Embassy Park one day. If there is maturity, kindness from President from President Hakainde Hichilema, President Lungu can be put to rest even next week in Zambia. But if there is a standoff, the insults, the disrespect, and the humiliation and the cruelty that we've seen so far, President Edgar Lungu will lie at Embassy Park, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, but he will lie at Embassy Park one day.
All right, let's now talk about the Patriotic Front away from Edgar Lungu's burial, and of course, which has been halted due to the ruling, and of course, the appeal that has been made by the family. Let's talk about the Patriotic Front. Do you have internal wrangles as the Patriotic Front?
Thank you, Ruben. The Patriotic Front is a victim as a party of, again, President Hakainde Hichilema and State House. We are where we are is because they've sponsored surrogates to hijack and steal the party. Look at this. The main person who the Registrar of Society had recognized as president of PF, Mao Sampa, came back to President Lungu and said there were errors in my ways. I had concerns and grievances, they were not handled very well. And that's why I took the route I took. He came back and bringing back the party to the legitimate owners. We have since signed an agreement. It has been 5 months. the judge will not agree and sign on a consent agreement. A consent agreement is very, very simple. Very, very simple. Parties who are wrangling agree. And the role of the court is just to consent. A high court judge has refused 5 months on to consent on that. They have now illegally recognized the MP we expelled, Mafinga MP Robert Chabinga, and is the one they are purporting that is PF president. The court ruled against him, and Mao Sampa warned the registrar of societies at Home Affairs will not make the changes required. They've disregarded again a court order. They've refused to hand back the party to the legitimate owners. The state of the Patriotic Front is as it is because President Hakainde Hichilema, the way he's stealing seats, the way he stole Kabushi, Kwacha, the way he's stealing Kawambwa, Pambashe, Petauke Central, is the same way he has gone for the opposition in general and for the Patriotic Front in particular. The Patriotic Front to date remains intact. It's a legal ownership that is in crisis because President Hakainde Hichilema has chosen to take away the leadership of the legal leadership of the PF and given it to his own stooge, Robert Chabinga, who we expelled. We are supposed to have a by-election in Mafinga, but they will not respect that. The Speaker has refused to honor our decision to expel Robert Chabinga. Mao Sampa also came and expelled Chabinga. The Speaker has refused to honor those letters. Instead, they've bequeathed him with the leadership of the party. Even when he's a one-man show, even when he has no following or no support, and even when he didn't follow through any of the procedures defined by our constitution. So the crisis that the PF finds itself, PF could have had issues. I was one of the presidential aspirants. I paid 200,000 kwacha. We began to campaign. We were preparing for a conference. Yes, we had our own issues. Just like any party. The UPND have issues. The FDD have issues. UNIP has issues. I've never seen a political party that doesn't have internal issues. Like any family, a family will have issues. But what we see is external interference by the state, which is a larger goal by the president to shrink the democratic space, disenfranchise his rivals and critics, create an environment that has fostered a dictatorship. Look at the cyber laws that have been set up. Look at the cyber laws that literally outlaw the constitution and its freedoms that are guaranteed to our people. All of a sudden, the cyber law is more powerful than our constitution, which guarantees your freedom of thought, freedom of information, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. Those rights have been taken away. Constitutional guaranteed rights have been taken away by an illegal law called the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Law. So the PF, even when it's surviving, even when we say we have members of parliament in the National Assembly, they want our MP to respond and report to an expelled MP called Robert Chabinga. So this environment again is a leadership issue where President Hakainde Hichilema is failing to respect that we are a multi-party state, that we abandoned one-party state, that we are a democracy, and that the rule of law, rule of institutions must prevail, that we should allow democracy to grow in our country. It's only about 30 years of our democracy, still growing. But President Hakainde Hichilema has taken us many steps back with the abuse of institutions, the creation of these new laws that he has created, and all the things happening in the country.
All right, so let's get to move on to the convention. Let's get to move on to the convention, Ambassador Mwamba. When are the people expecting to see the PF convention? And also, A personal question that I have for you, are you going to be one of the aspiring candidates for presidential seat for the PF?
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you for that question. When is a convention? It's a good question. First of all, we have this issue. Our president of the party, the late president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa, there's at the moment, the wishes of any African is you resolve matters after you've put to rest the person that is deceased. So for us, the late president is still not put to rest for now. And the party has a process it started in 2023. It is easier because those were mandates of the Central Committee. It's easier to pick up those pieces, do an audit of our membership, our members that are eligible to come to the conference, a quick audit, and then host that conference. And then remember, we have a legal issue where there is a person planted by State House who's purporting to be PF president, who has the legal status of the PF. While we have the people, while the matters are in court, and we have settled the principal difference we had with Mao Sampa, signed, and the judge for 5 months is refusing to sign. The legal status remains in limbo because the state is perpetuating that issue. So we are ready. As soon as we inter the late president, we had started the process to host a conference. It's easier to pick up the matter there. Am I still aspiring to be president of the Patriotic Front? There's been so much that has happened from 2023 to date. It's a matter I have to reflect, and then I will announce to the nation if it is possible for me to do so.
Okay, and how united is the Patriotic Front? And looking at how the Patriotic Front has been ever since you lost power in 2021, what are you going to do different this time around to make sure that you emerge victorious in the 2026 general election?
Ruben, I admire the resilience of Patriotic Front members. After everything they've been through, the assault, the persecution, the prosecution, the attempts to scatter the leadership, the attempts to steal the party, the heart of the PF is still there, beating and thriving very, very strongly. You see every time we have an issue, whether it's a funeral, how just the followers just turn up. Whatever it is, you've seen the heart of the Patriotic Front. It has refused to die despite this sustained onslaught on it. The resilience of the party speaks to the foundation that President Michael Sata did. He worked hard for 10 years to establish and found a party that was in the hearts of the people, not in the hearts of leadership. People like Edgar, Emmanuel, Mwamba, Brand Mundu, Given Lubinda can come and go. The way the Patriotic Front was set up by President Michael Sata is that it can carry any leadership. That is why you have seen that even people like Robert Chabinga fail to make, and even if they are planted, they are given a lot of money, they can't do anything to move our people. Our people are rooted in respect for President Michael Sata. They are rooted in respect for Edgar Lungu. They are rooted in the ideals of the Patriotic Front, which was built for the poor people, for poor workers. It was built as a mouthpiece to emancipate our country, build infrastructure, and take our country to where it should be. Promote unity, foster a Zambia where Zambians will be proud, whether they're in Zambia or abroad. So the Patriotic Front remains very united. There's been this onslaught. They've jailed our leaders. I am in exile. They have humiliated our leadership, scattered. They've dangled money. They've tried to buy our MPs, but the party still stands well-rooted. And our people deserve admiration that in the face of this hostility, they've not yielded, they've not surrendered, that they've not succumbed to the pressure that has been sustained by the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema. So for that, I just respect the party, and I wish many parties were that strong. UNIP withered within a few years after they lost power. MMD withered just after they lost power. You've seen it's been 4 years. When we announced that the late president will be buried in Zambia, people found money they don't have to fly, to jump on buses, to drive to South Africa just to go and see off the late president. That is that party, the Patriotic Front. We are collaborating with members of the opposition. We are of the view that there should be a united opposition. We think that if we collaborate with our fellow leaders in the opposition, we persuade institutions like the church, labor unions, they have to come to the aid of Zambia. This is not a matter of Zambia. This is not a matter of the PF. This is a matter for Zambia. Democracy is under assault. There's an attempt to foster a dictatorship. It's not a matter for the Patriotic Front to fight tyranny and dictatorship. It has always been a core of the church, trade unions, the people, students, youths, who have always reclaimed when our country is veering off through the democratic path. If you look at what happened in 1964, young people, Kaunda was merely just turned 40, and his colleagues were 35, 36. They got Zambia, from the clutches of colonialism. If you see 1991, it were young people, Akashamba Twambiku Stalewanika, Mohabi Lungu, Derek Mbita Chitala, and others. They were young people, including President Lungu, President Frederick Chiluba. They were young people, students, the church, that reclaimed the country back and wrestled it from dictatorship. You see the same pattern in 2011 and 2021. In fact, if there's anyone who understands how our people move, it's President Hakainde Hichilema. Because his election in 2021 was supported by the church, by trade unions, by youths. Young people rose in numbers to support him. He has unfortunately squandered this great opportunity. And the Zambians again in 2026 will arise. Where we are, the country is moving through a very dark period. But I'm very confident that our people will rise, that our people will reclaim our country for the principles of democracy, the principles of rule of law, the principles to respect our democratic institutions. Our country do not want a one-man show. They want an independent parliament. They want an autonomous and independent judiciary. They want a strong executive president and his people also pushing their policies. But they want an electoral commission of Zambia that is independent, that can hold free and fair elections. Those are the wishes of our people. And when you tamper with these processes, you are stealing democracy from our people. Our people are prayerful. They want our country to go back to God, to go back to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. We cannot have a country now at peace with these gay issues, Freemasonry. We cannot have a country like that. Our country is dedicated to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. And we want to reclaim our country back to that role of a country that is a Christian nation, thriving democracy, and on a path to development. And unfortunately, President Hakainde Hichilema can't take us to that promised land. He's had 4 years, and 4 years he has squandered. He has taken us away from God. He has taken the economy to the drain. He has taken us into dictatorship. So it is a call for Zambians. Where are the trade unions? Where is the church? For our colleagues that are aspiring to be presidents, can we hang our jackets and just come together and look at the single purpose of replacing this government and giving our country an opportunity to start afresh, to build institutions? Thank you very much.
All right, so you as the Patriotic Front teaming up with many other opposition political parties, forming the Tonse Alliance. Is this just a matter of, winning the general elections in 2026, or rather, it's just a matter of removing President H as president, and then obviously take over as Tonse? What is the main reason of as opposition political parties teaming up? What is the main interest? Is it the interest of the Zambian people, or maybe just individual interest for different people that would want to be president one day?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ruben. The opposition should come together as a matter of imperative. This is a national building project. It's not just about removing President Hakainde Hichilema. In fact, the issue of removing President Hakainde Hichilema must be secondary. What should be primary is to restore the country back to democracy, to the rule of law, to respect of institutions, to bring back the country to the people of Zambia, where an economy is owned by our people. Currently, the policies of the UPND, the policies and programs of the UPND are the other way around. They favor foreign nationals. They give tax rebates for foreign nationals and foreign mining firms. They give them export duty free. They can export our emeralds and our copper free of charge. They don't even have to smelt or process them in our country. You have a leadership that doesn't have the heart of our people at the center. What they have are commercial and business interests. In every sector they are making, they are exporting power while there is heavy load shedding in our country. Even the export of power is being done at the expense of ZESCO. They already announced the plan to export maize, even before they understand the deficits that we've had in the last 2-3 years. So you have a government that is undermining the spirit and will of our people. That is undermining the growth of our people, of our economy. You have a government that promotes private and foreign interests as primary goals before they attend to the issue of our people. Even their so-called programs that should attend to the people like CDF, social cash transfer, free education, are all a joke because they make little or no dent whatsoever to the ambitions. If we have to be as ambitious as China, where you take up to almost half the population, from poverty, extreme poverty, to a middle class, the ambitions must be higher. The commitment and expenditure to issues that alleviate poverty could be higher. What we have seen is corruption at Ministry of Health, corruption at every sector. What we have seen is a country and an economy in private hands, and the very little that is left for public sector is stolen. Literally there's just theft going on, a kind of plunder we haven't seen in many, many decades. So our country is at a perilous situation, and therefore the unity of the opposition becomes an imperative. You cannot gamble with it. You just have to embrace it. And we are not fighting President Hakainde Hichilema. We are fighting his leadership style that favors foreigners, that fosters a dictatorship, that destroys our democratic institutions like the judiciary, ECZ, National Assembly, the Zambia Police and Law Enforcement Agencies. You cannot weaponize a system tailored against your opponents, tailored against the people. That is not a leader who should last a minute more in office.
As we bring this interview to a close, let's talk about, the future of Tonse Alliance. Now that the chairman for Tonse Alliance, former President Edgar Chagwa, what is next for Tonse Alliance? Who do we see becoming the next chairperson? And obviously, do we see someone from the PF, considering that the PF is the biggest party in the Tonse Alliance? Do we see someone from the PF taking over the chairmanship again?
Ruben, you will remember that when President Edgar Lungu helped form United Kwacha Alliance, UKA, and problems emerged in UKA, and the breakaway formed Tonse. He attended Tonse and brought the PF back into Tonse. But there's one cardinal issue, if you remember. He refused to withdraw the membership of PF from UKA. The aspect by the Patriotic Front and the overview is that we should bring the opposition together. Tonse, UKA, and any other alliances and political parties outside any of these alliances must be brought together. That was the goal of President Edgar Lungu. He refused that we should withdraw from UKA. He refused. Whatever UKA said, we never wrote a letter of withdrawal. It was very simple. President Edgar Lungu was focused not on one alliance. He wanted all the opposition who had sincere desire to reclaim, power from this dictatorship, that they should work together. And that is why you saw that President Lungu kept on imploring on others to join Tonse. And if they couldn't join Tonse, they should find the mechanisms in which they could work with Tonse. He still reached out to political leaders who were even outside either Tonse or UKA. You remember that he went to see Edith Nawakwi, who was in Tonse before she passed on. You saw him meet Harry Kalaba. He spoke to Fred Membe. He spoke to all these other people. The focus by the late president was beyond UKA or Tonse, was that the opposition must be united and present a united front against the UPND. And Ruben, you must understand why the focus by President Lungu was like that. He understood that, number one, this is an opposition leader who won power from an incumbent. Two, this is an opposition leader who's trying to use state institutions and state resources to concentrate power and get re-elected with or without the will of the people of Zambia. He recognized that this is a man that was abusing democracy, literally putting democracy in the bin for the purposes of getting re-elected. Such a matter can only be resolved by... just give me a moment, Just a minute. I just wish to apologize. My camera, I have an issue with my current camera. I don't know whether you are there, my brother. Are you there? Sorry. I have an issue with the camera, and but I think we are resolved. So, Ruben, I was saying, it's an imperative that the opposition must be united. Those were the wishes of the late president, and those are the wishes that we must honor. It's not about Tonse, it's not about United Kwacha Alliance. It is about the unity of the opposition, a unity beyond political parties, a unity that should bring trade unions together, the church, and rally Zambians together to fight for democracy. This is like independence 2.0. This is like independence reloaded. It's not about the Patriotic Front. It's not about Given Lubinda or Brian Munduwile or Fred Membe or KBF or Harry Kalaba. No. This should be a movement to bring our people together and focus them. We only have 1 year to an election. We go to an election, I think, is it Thursday, 13th August 2026. So we only have a year. And if the opposition wish to squander the opportunity that is before us, it will be the opposition leaders to blame. It will not be the people of Zambia to blame. So let us facilitate, let us be like midwives, because you are fighting a system that is trying to dilute the role of the ECZ, that is trying to dilute the role of the judiciary, that is trying to decimate, principles that allow us to be a multi-party state.
All right, this is where we end the program. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you talking to us on.
Ruben, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Millennium TV. I'm grateful to the management and to social media, the people that are calling me. You have an opportunity. Let's migrate to my page and call on that program. If you didn't have an opportunity to call on this program, I'm opening phone lines on my social media platform. We'll leave for now. We'll leave a Millennium TV. So thank you, Ruben. Thank you very much for the offer.
Great. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And dear viewers, thank you so much for your time as well. We appreciate watching the platform program. My name is Ruben Mwanza on behalf of the entire production team at TV. Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Okay. To our social media audience and those let me just open the phone lines. Just give me a minute. I switch on this phone. We're discussing the Patriotic Front, the issue of the late president. So now have your say. If you are following us on social media, just have your say. I'll be opening the phone lines. Just wait. The phone is just rebooting. Mulaika fyanambe ila cover because you kula wawa isula fe phone at 200 missed calls. Thank you very much for your support. So Millennium TV is gone, but we have you now. Okay. So the phone is set now. You can call. I think it's now ready. Okay, we have our first caller. Caller, tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much.
It's Patrick from the UK.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fantastic program with Millennium TV. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Ambassador Mwamba, I'm just going to talk about quickly three issues, and it's the issue of unity. It's the issue of our democratic space shrinking, our minerals, and corruption. Yeah, because that program of yours, Mwamba, it went beyond PF. Yeah. It's like a state of the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing, Mwamba, is the call to unity. You clearly mentioned that we want a united opposition. It has nothing to do with PF. And Mojave clearly stated, the way forward. Nobody should think, actually, people should put their egos aside. This is not a game. This is independence part 2, or, reset independence. This is serious. We've got a government that is slowly descending our nation into tyranny. Look at Bill 7, look at cyber laws. Despite us having the Bill of Rights in our constitution, this person doesn't care. And look at the way he's destroying the opposition. Zambians, even you start seeing when people start phoning, they won't mention the names. In anonymous. What kind of a country is this, Mwamba? And then, I've talked about cyber laws. And then we talked about land laws now, which they have deferred. And then he's grabbing members of parliament like no man's business. Because this guy, what he wants is to control all the institutions. The minerals, Mwamba.
Yeah.
This is our independence. We've given all our mineral rights to foreigners. The country is so rich. Why can't we build refining capacity? Why can't we bring investors to build refineries in Zambia? Why can't we have precious metal refinery plant in Zambia? We had one in Dora. We can bring one. Why are we exporting copper ore or concentrates and raw emeralds? These are the things HH should be concentrating on. Why are we giving tax concessions to mining companies when they are making a lot of money? Why are we not dealing with transfer pricing, tax evasion, tax avoidance? And Mwamba, on corruption, HH is not the right person to fight corruption. You can see he failed to declare his assets. So he's failed to set a tone for corruption. There are so many leakages. Look at ZAMSA. Corruption, Mwamba, requires naming and shaming. Why has he failed to name and shame the people, the big fishes of UPND who've been named in the ZAMSA saga? Now, Mwamba, what surprises me now, it's all over the social media today that after the funeral, Tasila's Derek investigation will continue. But Mwamba, HH promised that he will fight corruption of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But why is he not? Why is he not naming the corrupt people in the in the Zamsa saga. And is concentrating on. So this corruption seems to be selective, to a neutral and objective person. I rest my case.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The usual number, for one reason or another, I don't know what has happened to it, but these are battles we fight every day. Can you imagine it's showing that it's disabled? Yet I didn't disable the number. The person who has called has my other number that is not public. But let me just switch off this phone again and see if the situation is as I suspect. But you can just beat them to the game. Ask your question on my Facebook post. Just go to my post and then I'll answer your question. But for me, I don't want to manufacture anything. That's why I love voices, people's voices to be heard. Oh, there are a lot of questions here. Someone watched ZMBC and said the AG didn't provide anything. And he says, so people accusing Mwamba of being one-sided. Did they listen to the Attorney General? He was worse. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to reboot this phone and see if we can take your calls. Just help me switch it off and then switch it on. Yeah. The PF stands as a strong, resilient, and united force, and everyone has seen it. No, thank you very much. His supporters remain steadfast, unshaken, and unwavering in their loyalty. Mwamba, is the church scared? Where is the church? Are they also scared of cyber law? Everyone is. Churches, they just see funny people in the pews, so that either the priest or the pastor begins to moderate his own teachings. We've heard those stories. This one says we need to team up to come Fokole Church so that we can have sanity and restore our democracy. Thank you very much. Another one says the church, are they also afraid of cyber laws? Yes, we've discussed that. That's why they are missing 12 missed calls and 30 missed calls from Robert Chavinga. This one says talk about Zesco. Why are there middlemen companies there? Yeah, thank you very much. I'm trying to get this phone to work so that you can call and we hear your voice. This was an explosive. This one says, where is Dan Pule? Honorable Dan Pule was unwell. He went to India for medical treatment. He has come back. He's recovering and he has since taken up his role as vice chair. This one says, Nangunisho Nkonono tukavota. Okay, let's see if the phone will work. Just a minute, because I saw that it's showing that my WhatsApp has... the WhatsApp is here. Good. Whatever they tried, it didn't work. Whatever they tried, it didn't work. Okay. We are back. Those that have strong views and wishes to call, I already have 30 missed calls, although it was not showing on my phone. So whoever now can call, the number, you know it by heart, especially for our regular callers, but let me look for it and give it to you. Oh, there, we have our caller. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Mtonga Anton from Lusaka, Zambia.
Yes, Mr. Mtonga.
Yes. I think my question is, we have seen a lot of things that is going on around our country, in our country. The big issue, I mean, for family yava lungu. Ngatwa family yama lungu. Mwana wa court, and then apa mu comment naenda ku Supreme Court, kwa naenda ku Supreme Court. ngati vakoti vazakamba kuti still more government is taking over, then what will be the next step for the family?
Okay.
And then is it okay? I think my suggestion, or maybe what I was thinking, issue ingaende ku international court. They can appeal to international court. Ngati stumo kama hivi vashitanika ngati stumo family ita refuse kuti vananikari kuti va head of state vasashite attend that funeral.
Okay.
That's my question.
Thank
you. The other thing is that we were talking of PF. To say PF, we are ready to Nankan to us. We are just mwakabati mufuna chapati tishte tichosepoche vadanke tusepo government ya ilipo. So you are ready to unite. But now, since government ya ilipo sifu na PF, it's like government party PF the way it is. So if today maybe wasanga kuti vakananikani vakalava vankale va president, or maybe va KPF vankale va president, usheva PF members, pure PF members, those are my questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The line is back. You can see the calls waiting in the background, so you can call. The number is 073. Where is my number? I should know it by heart. 073 0973 078082. 073 078082. The usual number we call upon. You can call on it and give your contribution. Okay. Let's just hear a few voices. Sunday, we allow you to rest, but I love feedback from our people, and they also bend to contribute to any program that we may have. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yeah, no, you've spoken very well. Otherwise, we appreciate for the job that you are doing. And I think for us, we are small prophet. You say like we are small prophet. We believe in God. We pray. I always why I'm a small prophet. Why me? I say I'm a small prophet because I'm just being used by God. Dream and I have revelation. I saw the corrupt on the forehead of the judge in South Africa, and when I saw it, I just said, "This man is corrupt, and it's a very dangerous corruption judge that I've never seen on earth." And he's not okay right now, as I'm saying. He's under pressure because God is dealing with him right now, as I'm speaking right now. And also, Ambassador, here in Zambia, we are suffering. I can assure you that people are dying. Are getting missing, and these are things that are happening every day. When we talk about the church is quiet, the church is very quiet. We don't know what's happening with the church in Zambia. Thank God for today for C0URT for stepping in this country, Zambia, to pray. I know something is happening, and that's my contribution. But I pray for you that may God Almighty keep on keeping you healthy and to continue speaking for the people of Zambia. May God bless you. Thank you so much. And please pass my number to Madam Lilian Mtambo. And I believe that she's a prophetess. I follow her very much. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Okay, we'll do. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Emkwai mwewe na mpika landeni po.
Emkwai tukalife kwa bachi turande pokwena no kutashe milimo yo mulebomba.
Endita.
Kwena na mtu isaba emkwai na mtu isura kwa emitwe mufingi.
Emkwai.
Omba inecho ndakunda kofi kuchalo cha Zambia chakuishiwo kwa bati muno mchalo mwali ba mapastors mwali ba nefshamfumu. Ilili ashiri aba Edgar Chagwa Lungu. ishanfumu n'amapastors mwe bantu bakwatisa nga baliiminemu abantu batuusheko bakyula efo nakirafu afye okulanda pwefe kwenaine ekikwete nefingi ifye akulanda pantu tuleero shata kyawama
Mkwai, wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, just let's hear from you. The lines are open. The lines are open. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I choose to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Thank you very much. How are you, Ambassador?
Oh, very well, my brother.
Well spoken, actually. Indeed, our country needs a reset. Our country needs to get back to normalcy. What we are experiencing right now in Zambia is so strange, is so weird. You know, everything is just like in tatters. We do not have a direction. We have this evil, you know, that has actually grown to levels that we never, ever thought it would. We are a country that has completely lost its identity. We're Zambia that was known, you know, for peace. We're Zambia that was known, you know, to keep people that have come from different African nations. It was a place of refuge.
Yeah.
Now we have a Zambia where its citizenry are running away from persecution, from the very government that they put in power. We have the Zambia where leadership is hell-bent at destroying its democracy, the democracy that enabled them to come to power. We have the leader that has no, you know, empathy, sympathy, you know, a leader that does not even care what a widow is going through. What more, what is it that, you know, can actually move this leadership? A leadership that is celebrating the pain of others. This Zambia that we've been subjected to, this Zambia that has been introduced to us is a strange Zambia. It's not the Zambia that we've known. A Zambia that we've known, it is a Zambia that has always been one nation, regardless of the tribes. We have a Zambia where only certain individuals are appointed to places of governance. This is really sad for the nation. And our generation will judge us harshly in the future. This country needs to be restored in 2026. I'm appealing to all Zambians. And this is, I know, you know, can I quickly say this?
Yeah.
UPND has been boasting in that they've been able to steal the by-elections that they've been used. And that they want to measure that as popularity. All that is propaganda. UPND can never win a fair election. No matter what they can do, they are nowhere on the ground. People understand and they know who they really are. 2026, Zambian people, let us rise to the occasion. Let us bring back our country to normalcy. You know, everything is just confused. We do not have good relationship with our neighbors. You know, everything is just, you know, I don't know what to say. Really, I'm hurt by Mwamba. Talking about the judgment in South Africa, very clear, you know, the man was quoting a law that is non-existent in Zambia, you know, and you could just see that the whole judgment was really stinking corruption. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, Mr. Mshota, make your contribution. You're on the Febuino. Please make your contributions.
I know, like the previous caller was saying, Chala natural now, Papa soap and upon them to me to the Mumfinfi.
Mwamba.
The folk who up to 20 Shan, Kolanda to the Mumfinfi, I want to let chula. Think if it's come Zambia and if him be film, Conso Koaya. Nangu ni kopa boti ndenda sana nangu kuma abofyo kwino ko bafu manga wayako wasango wantu ofubaliranda twadaba no kudaba bonta abantu nabo vota kali mu mitima shabo actually if I quite like what we have been saying the past few days is to come united. We choose one leader that we are all going to go with. I'm telling you, we cannot go for another 5 years with this kind of a government. I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's have your say. So we're on Millennium TV, in which I was hosted by Ruben. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Chilufia from the UK, Ambassador.
Oh, wonderful, Chilufia. Make your contributions.
Yeah, Ambassador Mwamba, I was thinking to myself, what would have happened if, say, our president wasn't well, and the body of our late president had to come to Zambia. These are issues that make me angry. You look at those guys who were celebrating on Friday. Kaleisa Katumbi. What would have happened?
Yeah.
It's simple. Imwe, ambassador, nentambi twatwala kuisa kanshine imwe. Chisuma.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very important, Nentambi, and I agree with you. Yeah. Someone has summarized my appearance on the program that I just had. Okay, let us make your calls so that we close the program. It's Sunday, we allow you to rest. We had too many glitches today, too many glitches. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Bachitonge, London Poyama. Mkwai.
Patotera pa ukuseresha kuonsene fumwa chirondo nokuimina kuba fyashiwe sobatisha wa Edgar namansa zimwachipera ku family because na ifo bene fyaba mu mitima nomba ni chofika iri apa pe na ifo poturanira pali platform pamtari kwatana ifo amashuwa yako ari shiba fumwe fintu kai baranda tichiri pamunove na yoni chapali but if ya chika fupuli wa Edgar Chagwa Lungu ine ni mpapa sana yakuti na banono bale tukawa ba president wa Edgar for 7 years nokuikara kwata na maga wisa mukutuka kutukana muchitumbi ale tuko muntu tare mwasuka so chirempa pusha sana mali tori kwetu pananika reni pa minini ambaji toisha sankwati ama leaders achwaka ba president yaka inde itile manga chikuti varomfa peni varomfa ngafiri ngabala chitakompea muri bena leadership ingana iwa nomba tabafimona muri bena bafimwena afikuti bali like cyber ibombera kuli balya abakubati bare batukabena bare bapontera ebena ikabumba badingere tukawumbi awe ranji irifye nomba icharoko trera ifuna ine vuchetu papusha voti babo fakwa isabati ngunga twa chore shepante turate tufume again tumishire ba politician na tawo ba politician na imwe ngwe fye mwe kana ifo twa kwentu ngwe shima kutu ibere se fueka au nishitwe rubake nishitwa ba tungura abantu bamobe ero ngatwamuna ifo muyimirine fye mwe bakoseresha akona bonse fye na ubange sasuminishanya babiri fo kuranda ba muchinga ingana no unkaro bagwete techi bese ngabafika fera ngpaya putso ba kugara mtitu bana fa twala shika fobe mwali tuberesha sana mwali tuchusha sana so inefo ninganda bakubati tuko twala kula mipepera kofe mwali kuntanshi mwali monekera foto kula fa panshi no kumipepera kofe eso mwino wa makayo se ule mona mukatika mitima yenu kai muika tanenge fufine mule ikatana bakutire so mwino kuchami bofya kumtanji twatote.
Thank you very much. I can hear the phone buzzing in the background. Call so that then we can close the program. I always want people to contribute. It is their program. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Mkwaiwa Munkonge.
Ambassador Day Pusha Kubushe Saibana because Vari Vakaka Vadava Chikuria Puchpatavadia. Umbafta Vakaka Vadava Kashana Vavi. Tambisha Kwama Clipsi. Fovach Nefrich Tavan to Bambia Chirapu. By Java Kashana Venavadi. Hello, Chimbindelo Mbako, clip ya kuchita tempa bode. Ngatambisha koli lali pako bacha bantu abengi. Baisukako. Baishibekile jifya nechitika. Bantu abengi yofona sanga. Pamurandu wa kushika. Baranda vyati. Familia ya alikana ukuleta bode. Barafiro ukurando kwe bati. Pali baba akano kwe bati. Tabafiri ba mwana bode viewing. Bafwa yo kumona bode viewing ko twafikira na pali. Ili ashapo abengi tali abalichinga abengi bayishi bafyati family yali kano kwe bati ileta bode ku Zambia. Bajaba lengo kwe bati tukokole barabepo obufuku bantu so tumwafa kwa abantu ro chilipa program munshirisha kusana abengi yabakwata kwe chinga bwe bamona kwa family yali ba first up
Mkwai.
Kwena pona pelera ba Mwamba tukisa sita contribute pa kushikwa mairo mugombi omutende kali ndero mbako ngamwa kwata ko chance mukalete ko na bambi bashima people
Mkwai.
Nango babupe kutumwa babwesha nango bambi kutumwa baleta ko abama people na bobalisa na very important.
Okay. No, thank you very much.
Hello?
Yes, thank you very much. Let's take this call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, you're speaking to an anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Okay. All right. Just to say this, the current situation where the government of Zambia wants Lungu'S body to come to Zambia. In a situation, let's say the body comes to Zambia and none of the family members appears, to the funeral. Does it mean that the government will still go ahead and bury? To my own understanding, the government only facilitates and does not own the body. Why? Because the body belongs to the family. That person was born in a family and he lived with his family. He only served Zambia for a particular time, meaning nobody owns him apart from his family. So this whole fight that the government has, I don't think is sensible enough, because how do you bury somebody that has where they come from, and you want to own their body, you want to collect their body from their family in the interest of the so-called public or the Zambian people? Who in Zambia owns Lungu? Who? Nobody.
It's a family.
But here we are seeing people. It's the family. The government's role is to facilitate. It's not to own the body. But this whole drama is made as though the government owns the body. They have never owned the body of anybody that they have buried before.
Yeah.
They have only facilitated. Only to facilitate. Now, if you are there to facilitate, does that make you to own the body? This is what is making the whole judgment in South Africa very vague. Because how do you go ahead and say, no, hand over the body? who owns that body?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know it's all rituals behind, because after they do whatever they want to do, they're going to abandon that body to say, now you can go ahead and bury. You see? That's the whole thing. So we know for sure it's all just rituals behind, because it doesn't make any sense. How do you go ahead and say, no, we're going to have a private church service? How? Where? Who gives it the right to have it done that way? So let us, as Zambians, know that the government does not own anybody. It only facilitates. So if they want to facilitate, let them facilitate. But let those that have been put aside be put aside. They shouldn't be there, because the government can still facilitate even without them.
Yeah.
So let us respect family. Let us respect where these people come from. You can't just own somebody's body like they are a dog, like they are lost. It is very uncalled for. It's very unheard. It's just for people that cannot reason, and they want to use every power they have in their hands, and they want to abuse it. And this is what we're seeing with the current government. So I call forth the church to rise. I call forth every well-meaning Zambian to stand behind the Lungu family. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. When did we hate someone like that? It's very uncalled for. Very uncalled for.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother.
Please. Mr. Mwamba, please call the church. Call everyone. What is the church doing about it? We shouldn't sleep over this matter. It's nothing to do with politics. This is a human person that has a life, had a life lived with us. Let us go ahead and demonstrate. Let us go ahead and stop this nonsense. Please, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. You've been waiting for some time. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. This is Mwamba from Livingstone.
Yes, Mwewa.
Ambassador, I'll start with the giving you the details of how our president is communicating. In communicating, our president is using mostly comedians. He's now using that BJ Kuba, Avera Bikron, and some Bemba chaps. That's how he's using to communicate. Now, I wanted to pay particular attention. I'm going to discuss about 3 issues. One is how the taxpayer is funding that nonsense in South Africa.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the example. There's a story which this BJ Kuba and Bikron, the type of comedy they are doing is like they're chatting. So this BJ Kuba was trying to give an example to justify that the body belongs to the government. So the example he gave was that tunaona ku prison muntu ngati anamangiwa wanamusentencing life imprisonment. Kusheuja muntu akafa bamafunsa ko ba family or prison ba prison ndeba shika kunja. And then he went on to show that the previous government was wasteful in expenses than this government. He was saying that, look, it's a chain around the country. The motoka yatu metunangena nayo kutoka mu opposition. Ba PF batuza that muzi using a Marandi cruiser. That the video I'm talking about is there on this guy's name, BJ Kuba. So they're trying to show that PF had more expenses, waste expenses than they are doing now, because for PF the elections were funded using taxpayers' money. Wow, themselves, they're just using their own money to do whatever activities they are doing. Now, Ambassador, and maybe let me appeal to them, ask the nation, who is wasting taxpayers' money?
Yeah.
Chavinga's audio, Auditor General's movements, Attorney General's movement, and is ever catching a fright. And he's not alone, he's got a group. Look at those expenses. Before a judgment was made,
yeah,
the helicopter was already waiting. Now, in terms of wasteful, and in terms of saying that they are not using tax, they are not wasting taxpayers' money. Those that are doing activities in South Africa on behalf of government, they are on taxpayers' salaries. So does it mean that a taxpayer is the one who is funding the torture of the late president, tormenting the family? The taxpayer, is that how our taxes must be used to punish in society? I'm posing this question to Zambia.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
The other thing is that that example of a prisoner, these guys, they already know that the body belongs to the family. It's only the prisoner who has no power, maybe whose family has no power to, when they die, maybe a prisoner. And this guy is saying, but I'm going to rest alive in imprisonment. So, in short, I don't know, but that is just my thinking. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you, my brother. Okay, so we just, I can see there are 7 missed calls already just after this one. Maybe I take this last one. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Mkwaiwa mtalela ndenipo.
Baimano Mwamba chira fwanji kushepa liwa kampion ni mfoti wa kampion wana wale palamina okrosa wa join anikani unkala fishing kana ngufya ufi.
Okay, but you're not live. I haven't heard any of that.
Because the really is not trending sana deni. Chira isho kutuma namba. Banala isho kutumia padi namba yenu ida yimbi.
Okay.
Defo kuranda na yo.
Okay. No, wakampiongo ni mpalume varia, you know, ninka ya milimo varia. Sometimes just propaganda. I'll find out. Mkwai, don't worry, I'll get back to you. Thank you. Okay, so tomorrow we have Honorable Christopher Kangombe Kamfinsa MP, and we have George N. Mutonga. They are discussing the subsector, the gold subsector, and what needs to be done. This is in light of the measures that Ghana has put up, where it has earned just in 2 quarters $5 billion. Why can't we do the same in Zambia? I will have this panel of experts tomorrow, and we have a big one, Dr. Grieve Chelwa, on Thursday. He reviews the state of the UPND 4 years in government from the economic side. Remember, is an economist voted one of the top 10 economists in Africa. He was at Harvard University, now he's in the UAE. He comes on this platform to review the UPND's 4 years in office from their economic policies. We have, over the weekend on the Diaspora Forum, on Sunday, a power-packed team that will discuss the mining and mining policies in Zambia. Then we have lined up various persons to come. Bob Schinga, Ernest Mwanza, Mohabi Lungu'S is coming back. So stay tuned that we have strength to cover all this, because the Lord has to ensure that we do this. This is a project for our country. This is a project for Zambia. God bless you, and shalom, shalom.